Good eye, mate.
But it's the beer. Good eye, mate.
Good eye. It's happy hour from down under.
Down under, Sydney, Australia.
Yes.
My God, it's summer there.
It's summertime.
Wow.
It just blows my mind that to go.
And it's 9:30 a.m. there, and it's happy hour. Nonetheless,
it's happy hour everywhere.
Commend you to commitment and your spirit.
Yes.
As we like to say, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It is. Every single hour. Yes.
But you're in a different day.
It's true.
So here I am. I'm on time, the right day, and somehow you've managed to be a day late.
Yeah, and I've been.
For you, it's Tuesday. So
what's
how do
really
we reconcile this?
What's really messed up is I've been chatting with someone in Los Angeles this morning, and in Los Angeles it's still yesterday morning there. Like, it's
a whole.
It's like what?
24 hours.
What?
Not 12, like in our case.
Yeah.
Or
so.
whatever. Right.
Yeah. Normally you and I are 6 apart.
Right.
And now we're 16 apart.
Right.
Which is just wild. Like it being 10 apart from Spain. What I've been doing is I call my family when I get up because they're just about to go to bed, and then when I get up, I call them, and they're let's see. When I get up, they're just about to go to bed, and when I'm going to bed, they've just gotten up or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's just wild.
It is.
And
it begs that the definition of reality is seen through the lens of time, because we recognize it's a completely human construct, right?
Right.
It's a completely human construct, which it is non-relational in so many ways. You know, I mean, relational to the sun, perhaps.
In many ways, I'm below you right now, and you're below me because we're on opposite sides of this ball we call home.
So if I did as I often dreamt of doing when I was a child, dug a hole to the center of the earth so I could visit Jules Verne's inner earth,
yes,
but then continue digging the other side and breaking away through what I thought instead, of course, was China.
Right.
From New York to China, but that might not have been exactly right, huh?
That is true. The word for the point on the opposite side of the earth is called the antipode, and they're strangely, through no particular rhyme or reason, there are very few places in the world where the antipode is on land, where the two places are both on land, because the Pacific is so freaking huge.
Big, right.
But one of the places where you can be exactly on land and be exactly on the opposite side of the earth is New Zealand and Spain.
Oh, no kidding. The opposite sides of the earth, or
exact opposite sides from the center.
No kidding.
Yes.
I never would have guessed that.
And if you if you had a tunnel going straight through the very center of the earth, which is not possible because it's so dense, but imagining is a physics question, is if you had that thing and you jumped into it, you would get going really, really fast. When you got to the center, you'd start decelerating, and you would get slower and slower until your head popped up on the other side before you fell back down through again.
Continually till the end of time, or till you starve to death, going back and forth and back and forth. It's dismal. You painted an awful picture.
It is.
I didn't think it through. When I was 5, I didn't think it through. I didn't think about that, which you just described. A constant yo-yo until starvation sets in. That's nice. You've taken a dark twist. It's interesting you can do that at 9:30 in the fucking morning.
It's just science, man.
You take a boyhood dream and you turn it into like truthful but evil science.
Mm-hmm.
You've got an act.
And there's a weird corollary that if you took any other line, not necessarily the one that goes straight through the center, but say one that went from Spain to Michigan through whatever the direct line is.
Yeah.
And you got rid of friction. Maybe you're on a levitating train or something. That would also, you would fall downhill until you got to the closest point to the center of the earth, and then you would start going uphill again. And the crazy thing is that the physics equations work out such that it takes the same amount of time, no matter what line you cut through the earth, just using gravity to bring you down, and then to accelerate you to the maximum speed, and then decelerate you to the other point on the surface. It's It's just a weird thing.
It always takes the same amount of time, meaning that because gravity is stronger in the center, the longer distances travel quicker.
Yes, you get going. You get going faster.
So no matter what, time equals acceleration plus what, man?
Plus Mother Earth, man.
Plus what? Mother Earth, bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's so it's so true, man. Mother Earth wants us in her heart.
Could we copyright that word?
What?
Mother Earth. Could we copyright that and make money off it?
Maybe.
Mother Earth.
Yes, possibly.
I
don't think anyone's ever. No.
I've never. So I've got a glow up here. Makes me want to take it out, and I think I will.
Okay.
I think I will, and take a look at what you're saying, because I'm amazed by the fact that you are near that point, which you said the word again.
Antipode.
Antipode. So if there's an antipode, is there a pode?
I guess a pode is where your feet are.
Pod,
pode.
So antipodes. Yeah, that makes good sense. Wow.
Somebody has to.
Very well. oh, that's funny. That's funny. So we played poker the other night. Hosted it at the revised home. I set for 8. We had 6.
Mm-hmm.
Tables were big enough. Food was spread. Good time was had by all.
Excellent.
First half of the night, I was double my money. I was the big winner across the board. And then the whole half of the second half, I got it down so that over the course of over 4 hours,
wow,
I made $4.25. But we're playing nickels and dimes.
Yeah.
But the house was large enough to support that, and everybody had a good time. Roomy enough, where you're not bumping into each other and shit. So.
Well, the house always wins, so that's good.
Wow.
Right?
You're sharp. You're sharp. Beer at 9:30, and you can think clearly. That's wonderful. Good for you. I'm at the end of my day. We had 2 days of warmth there. It was in the mid 40s. It was a miracle. Today was supposed to be warmer. And
wow.
I go downstairs as I'm inviting people in for poker. And somebody from the street apparently shot 2 BBs into my house. Whoa. And went through one window in my porch. Brand new window that I put in. Big one.
Is that a message? Is that a message from the local mafia?
Well, I think it's from the mafia, the guy who stutters. Because he's saying, be aware that
be careful.
Beware of me.
Huh.
His name is BB. BE, capital BE. He runs I think he runs a notorious BB gun gang here. They're all under the age of 12, but
he doesn't run the local.
Who knows?
Doesn't run the local apiary. No.
No. I mean, he could. You want to construct a complete new world.
Well, isn't that what we do?
Don't you? So you sent me a picture to post of the opera house there. It looked enormous. It is,
yes,
on a scale of unbelievable size.
Yep. It's one of the. There aren't a lot of cities that have such iconic buildings that you can just see the one building and know, I know what city that is. You got your Statue of Liberty and your Eiffel Tower, and your Sydney Opera House. It's way up there on the list.
Yeah.
And I don't even know that most people. You got your Golden Gate Bridge.
Right.
But I don't know that your average person from anywhere in the world would pick out something on the Chicago skyline, for example, or maybe within America, the St. Louis Arch is pretty iconic.
Well, if the shot of Chicago was one of their canals in the city, it would be. Well, that's immediately identifiable. I mean, as these things go, but
maybe I don't think as much as, say, the Sydney Opera House would be.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Not like that. No. Just knowing it's an iconic city. So
right.
There are iconic images.
Having been there, I clearly recognize the the view of that river. But yeah,
particularly as it enters the lake, and the shots of the marketplace that's on the wharf and jetting into the lake. I've been in the hotels there high up looking at that shit. That's cool.
And whatever they call the Sears Tower now. I forget what its new name is.
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't think that was the biggest building there and still is.
Right. Exactly.
So they got a great blues festival there. Great blues festival.
Chicago is known for blues. Yep.
They set it up, and they take this big field, Grant Park, and they draw a big X through it on an aerial map, a big X through it. And those X points are paths, creating 4 quadrants.
Yep.
2 of those quadrants are stages, and 2 of those quadrants are food and beverages. And it's instantly understandable, and the stages are far enough apart in that.
Right, they're opposite each other. Right.
The path's quite long to get there, in central, toilet areas. And because of that, it's so accessible. And there's a big amphitheater where the big acts go. I mean, it's big. Mm-hmm. It's big. But we love that. Tommy Kangaroo Down, boy. Tiny Kangaroo Down. Tiny Kangaroo Down, boy. Kangaroo Down. You know that?
No. What are you
don't?
What are you on about, mate?
Bring it up in the show notes.
Tommy Kangaroo?
Australia. Tommy Kangaroo, yeah.
Okay. I will.
You've never heard it?
No.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I just did, I think, but.
Well, you did. A short version. You want to hear the second verse? Tiny Kangaroo Down, boy. Tiny Kangaroo Down.
Wow.
Yeah, go back. I mean, this is, in the last 50 years, before your time, apparently. You might like it.
Go all together now, Tiny Kangaroo Down, sport. Tiny Kangaroo Down. Tiny Kangaroo Down, sport. Tiny Kangaroo Down.
Tommy's unrelated to Captain.
Say that again?
Is Tommy Kangaroo unrelated to Captain Kangaroo?
No. That's
okay.
a different
family.
So what did Captain Kangaroo have to do with Australia? That's an interesting point you made. I've never thought of it. But what was the connection there? Because it wasn't connected in any way to where kangaroos are. Is it why did they call him Captain Kangaroo, and who exactly was he captain of? Kangaroos or
exactly, or humans or wallabies or
wallabies?
Was there an army of wallabies?
Why would he be doing that?
That reminds me, I heard a good one about our good friends in Uruguay the other day on some other podcast. Somebody said, "You go your way, and I'll go my way."
Oh.
It's like, oh, jeez, that's pretty bad. But disappointed that it didn't come up on our illustrious program in all of our talking about Uruguay.
It has now. You only had to tell me 2 or 3 times, and I finally got it. So
that's because it's hard for me to
mispronounce it.
It's hard for me to mispronounce it in the English way of saying Uruguay.
You're right.
As opposed to Uruguay. Anyway.
To our friends there, a tip of the hat. I am drinking Alaska Amber from Juneau, Alaska.
Very good.
It's a beautiful little town. Hats off to them. Great brewery, great beer. So here's a story. Here's a brewery story.
Yes.
The other day was just the Sunday fun day, and I thought, well, I would take a long walk and try to watch a little bit of the basketball game. And so walked to the nearest bar that's a walking distance and remembered that it was closed on Sunday. And I walked to the next one, which is about 5 blocks away, and it used to be called Gonzo's Brewery. And they have an absolute wonderful symbol for that, which is a barking dog, a fierce dog with a fierce chain. And so they make really cool swag. It's gone. Huh. They sold out.
I think you might have mentioned that. You might have mentioned that before, and I think I might have seen that logo.
So it was the Sagatuck Brewery who bought it, and I went in thinking, oh, we'll see. And my complaint to all these bars that don't carry one, sometimes any, let alone 1 or 2 ambers. Mm-hmm. And so I sit down, and out of a 12 beer menu, they had 3 ambers.
Wow, quarter of the menu.
Well, maybe
mathematically,
maybe even 16 items on the menu. Quite a menu.
Okay.
But in fact, I got a picture of of the all of the brands.
And did you say I'll have one of each ember, please?
Oh well, no, I couldn't. I was walking, but I went from there to another place, and this place was open, and they have.
You couldn't drink too much because you were walking?
No. Well, I was just walking, having a beer, but I'm telling you about the brewery tour.
Okay, sorry.
So when we get to this next one, the name of their porter is For Richer or For Porter.
Nice.
And not only is it now the best porter in town because the joint that sold the peanut butter porter, which was the best porter in town, closed. Mm-hmm. They turned into a marijuana social club, tried that for a while, and then were hassled, I think, by the authorities and ended up closing. But when their production of the best porter in town ended, this always in second, close second, Richer or For Porter now. So we had a few toasts down there.
There's no lack of wordplay in beer names these days,
yeah.
Is there? There.
And this place is called Mr. Tibbs.
Okay.
And I can't, every time I walk through the door, just before I go in, I turn to my wife and I say, "They call me Mr. Tibbs." Which may be before your time as well, but maybe not. Sidney Poitier.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
Steve, they could have a porter called Sidney Porter, and they could sell it in Australia.
Sidney Poitier, Sidney Porter. I don't know, man. I'd be careful with that. I'd be careful with that. I wouldn't be changing his name.
Okay.
And turn it into some slang thing.
Yeah, you're right. That could
right.
be seen as disrespectful.
Belafonte Amber. Let's go that direction.
Okay.
Anything Harry Belafonte touches turns to gold. It's always been the case. So you're enjoying your time there. You're getting ready for a day. In this case, you've had breakfast, and the breakfast of champions. In fact.
Yes.
So what is it that you have in your hand?
In my hand?
What is it in your? What are you drinking?
I have a James Squire 150 Lashes Pale Ale. It seems a little colonial slave owner vibe, if you ask me. But let's see. James Squire was the first fleet convict who later became Australia's first brewer. The story goes he was caught stealing hops to make beer, but got off lightly with 150 lashes, while the judge enjoyed 2 barrels of ale. Here's the tasting notes. This Australian-style pale ale delivers cracking flavor with a refreshing finish and hints of passion fruit and grapefruit. Yeah.
Is that all true to you?
Seems so.
Did it crackle down your throat? Did you say, "Whoa, that's
whoa,
good beer.
That's some passion grapefruit."
Ooh.
Yeah, that's like better than 50 lashes. Yeah.
If that's the standard we.
Hey, I mean,
that's the standard we keep.
We did populate. This place was populated with a bunch of convicts.
Indeed.
So
it's got a rich history. Well, I'm glad you're there. It's got to be a thrill.
Yeah,
got to be an absolute thrill.
The city is really beautiful. It's they've put in a lot of work in having trees everywhere. They either got lucky or made some good decisions, and they've got a lot of their streets, and it's a fairly warm place, so it's nice to have so much shade and tree cover.
And what is the average temperature, high low over the course of a year? Do you know it?
I don't know it.
Is it more or less like Spain, or just the opposite of Spain? But if they're symmetrical on the globe, or antipod, the one is the antipod of the other, then wouldn't you think that there was some?
If there was rhyme or reason like that, yeah. Let's see. I've got the average weather for Sydney year round here, and it peaks in January, of course, with a range of 70 to 80 Fahrenheit, and it gets coldest in July with between 50 and 60 Fahrenheit. So it does not fluctuate that much.
How does it respond to Spain in any way?
No, I mean Spain has
the temperature ranges.
Yeah, no, not really. I mean interior Spain has really cold temperatures, but
so it sounds to me like Louisiana.
Could be, yeah.
although Louisiana gets a little hotter than 80, which of course you'd expect, but it also gets down in the 50s, and so that gives me a really good clue. That's pleasant.
Like I remember
That's pleasant.
a year or two ago, it was huge news that it had snowed in some part of Australia, and the photographers, they got pictures of the kangaroos hopping around in the snow. We're all excited, but yeah, it doesn't get that cold or really all that hot here. So
Yeah.
It's a good
Well,
place
you
to live.
said that the trees help with heat. I wondered what hot was. 80's not all that hot. The trees are great.
yeah, presumably in the middle of the continent, where in the middle of the I was taught Australia as a continent, but other people say island. In the middle there, where there's just nothing, and, in the outback, I imagine the temperatures get quite a bit hotter.
Yeah,
But here
right.
on the coast, the water
Right.
keeps it
Right.
pretty good. So I remember a few episodes back where when I was planning this trip, and my friend who I'm staying with said, "So do you want to do nippers?" Do you remember that?
I vaguely remember it,
And,
but I don't.
And I was
really.
like, "What on earth is nippers?" And
Nippers.
I looked it up, and it was it is this training course for young children for water safety at the beach. And every Sunday, my friend and his 7-year-old son get up and they go to the local beach, and they do an hour of this training in the surf. And the beach here, the waves are really quite large, quite close in, quite close to the beach, and also apparently the riptides are really dangerous. They lose.
It's important training. Right.
Many people die here every year because they just get sucked out.
Yeah.
And so the locals have such a strong respect for the sea and the beach and safety and stuff. So there's this huge organization, entirely volunteer, where all these local parents come and they bring their kids, and all the kids, they're pretty cute. A lot of the parents and the kids are wearing wetsuits because the water's fairly cool. It wasn't that cold this past Sunday when I went, but and they do this thing where the parents form this, despite the fact that there was a big sign up saying no swimming today, it's too dangerous. Of course, they let the little kids swim, and all the little kids wear these bright pink shirts on over their wetsuits, so you can spot them easily.
Do they all have wetsuits?
Most of them did, yeah.
How many kids?
Wow. Across the whole beach, there were probably 100 or more.
Oh my God!
My friend's kid was in a group of 30, and there were there were at least 4 groups up and down the beach.
No shit.
And they do. There's 4 different activities. One, the first one they did was with these boards, where the kids formed in a line, and you grab a board, and the parents go out maybe 15 yards out into the surf and form a little rectangle, and the kids have to get on the boards, which can be tough when the waves are crashing right there.
Yeah.
Get on the
You gotta
boards,
time it.
paddle out around this little small perimeter where the grown-ups are, and back again, and then get out and get back in line and do that. And each kid did it maybe 10 times in the 20 minutes they were doing that particular exercise.
Wow.
And then they went over to a little open area pool thing, and they did some thing where they had to swim across the pool and then get out and then walk around and jump in and swim across again. And then they did other things where they had to race into the surf and back out again. Just learning how the waves are strong and how they can knock you down, and if they do knock you down, not to panic, that you can get back up, and just a great sense of.
Who sponsors this? Is it the government?
It's a local. It's just a local organization. Although apparently all around the coasts of Australia, this is a common thing. But
I wonder if it's the government endorsed, sponsored, legislative.
I don't know.
Somebody's got to pay for it.
Right. Someone's got to pay for the boards, but the rest of it is all just volunteer parent time.
Sure. Well, that's why it's prolific.
Right. And there's this. The one sort of patriarch of this particular beach where they do it is this guy that's 80 years old and looks a little bit like Santa Claus, or like you, and he's been doing this for like 55, 60 years, teaching kids at this
Oh.
beach, and he can't quit now because in a couple of years he's going to be the first person to ever teach his great grandkid.
Oh my word!
This so
This is amazing, man.
yeah,
This is
just a
nothing
hero.
like this anywhere I've ever heard.
Exactly, and
It's fabulous.
and while you can't draw direct causal relations, you know for sure lives are being saved, even if
Oh, yeah.
even if it's not.
Right.
These kids are going to grow up, and some of them are going to find themselves in a position where they could panic and possibly drown, but because they have this training, they're not going to.
Right.
And
They're more likely not to. Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And
That's cool, man.
as such,
So what-
most of the
did-
people that the lifeguards rescue that would have drowned if the lifeguards don't rescue them,
Right,
most
right.
most of them are tourists or foreigners. The locals here have such a deep respect for the waves; they are almost never the ones in trouble, which is
Right.
pretty interesting.
Did you have a wetsuit?
I did not have a wetsuit.
How was that? Was it cold?
I did not go all the way in because I have a little bit of a cold, and I thought it would be not a good idea to. But
Yeah.
I did assume video and photo capture photography role for my friend and his kid, and I went out to my knees, and then a wave like drenched my my shorts because I didn't wear
Right.
didn't wear a bathing suit.
Right.
But
So you got
it wasn't
you got
that cold.
shots to post. You got shots to post.
I've got some stuff. I don't know if I can post it because, well, I don't know. In Spain, I've been trained that posting pictures of other people's kids is illegal.
Yeah, for sure. Certainly.
But I can certainly share some with you.
Yeah. Just edit out the kids. Yeah, I'd like to see the coastline. I'd like to see the wave action.
Yes, I do have
You know.
I do have videos of the wave. I will post a video of some of the waves. So, but that was cool, and a totally new experience, and also a thing that as a tourist you would never do. That you
Sure.
would never.
What was the temp outside?
70. It wasn't cold at all.
70. That's nice.
Yeah, 70.
That's nice. My favorite weather in the States is in San Francisco Bay Area, where the average temperature is 57, 58, but it's the lows are not too low, the highs are not too high.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about it. I mean, when you're in weather like this here, where the sidewalks are full of snow, it's icy, you just don't walk as much, and it's cold. It's not as pleasant, and so it's a detractor here. We do have these cleats that attach to the bottom of your shoes, which I'm gonna use the next time out. I go through the woods here because there's a huge 30-40 acre wetland area that has paths all through the woods just a block from here. And it was muddy and rainy and snowy, and I was in my boots, but it was I needed something cleats so I wasn't slip sliding on the snow, and then it'll be more pleasant. But that does change the nature of the exercise that you get. Where you're in a moderate climate, it's never that bad.
Yep.
And if you've got some comparison, like people who grow up there and never really are used to wider variations of weather would say, when it's 50 there, they'd say, man, it's freezing. It's so cold here.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And not comparatively. And it's interesting.
Where I live in Spain, when the weather gets down to 40, people are like, "Oh my God, I'm going to die. We're all dying," and it's all relative. I'm sure here. Then when it gets down to 50, people bring out like scarves and shit.
Yeah.
And to your point about activity, the Aussies seem pretty fit compared to certainly compared to Americans, but even compared to Europeans, there's not a lot of. I don't see a lot of obesity.
An interesting stat to look at. As highs and lows, I think Louisiana's quite high up on that chart within the states, which is quite high up. But there's some relationship to states that don't provide bottom line health care to their people that end up with all of these terrible statistics. It's amazing. Hey man, so Bernie takes Nevada and the Democrats are running scared like a bunch of scared rabbits.
Yeah, wow.
But hey, here's what I tell my friends this means. It's happy hour. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And we are at
happyhour.fm. This is going to be, what are we, episode 49?
49, 49, 49, 49, 49.
It's 7 squared. It's pretty crazy.
Turn me on, Edmund. Turn me on, Edmund. Turn me on, Edmund.
Yes.
Whoa.
That's like, whoa, man.
Whoa. Whoa.
So, next one is going to be 50. That's a nice big round number. Not quite
Well, we'll have to have a 1-year anniversary, and
not as round as 52, but
yes. I don't think our anniversary date actually coincides with our number of episodes, but I looked at Chartable today, and we're not without listeners. So it's up to, like, who knows? The stats are confusing, but it's so nice to know that there are people, in fact, listening.
exactly. And hey, you there listening. You.
Hey.
Tell a friend.
Hey.
Spread the word.
Oh, man, it was so cool. These guys, they make me laugh.
I'm talking right at you, in your ears.
Oh, Lord. Well,
It's me inside your head.
I wonder if there's a way for us to post in advance what kinds of beer we'll be drinking and try to get our listeners to find that beer or beers, one of the beers, and then correspond in a way that you'll explain that they can and talk about the particular beer of the week. This would be
A beer of the week segment.
exactly 2 beers of the week.
It's going to be hard for.
I mean,
I was going to say it's going to be hard for us to acquire
Predict
the
that?
same. No, it's hard for us to acquire the same types of beer given our locations. Normally.
different countries of the world.
Yeah.
Oh, you're such a
Different sides
complainer.
of the world.
You're such a complainer. Quit your whining about the size of the world.
No, beer
It's
in.
not that big.
Okay.
We're talking about beer, not beer. Beer.
Oh, beer.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Beer, 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 beer. Post that one. That's a famous old one, huh?
Beer.
Monty Python, the song.
Ah,
Oh,
that's a vague. That has a shimmer of a glimpse of a
familiar
recollection.
note somewhere in the thick, rather
Yeah.
thickened, swollen
When
parts of your
the
brain.
seventh beer, when the seventh word of the lyrics came out, it sort of clicked. Yes. That's
Which, right.
so.
One word repeated 7 times has an impact on people. There's a study about that.
So you did get that image I sent you yesterday of the Mercedes that I saw.
Yeah, I sent you one back.
Yeah, I see that now. Yeah, I was just walking along and by the.
So do this, man. You got to find out what that's worth in Australia, and then we'll calculate what the shipping cost is and see if we make any money. Right?
If make
it's an
money
island, right?
selling yours to some Australian.
Yeah.
Your steering wheel's on the wrong
They
side.
got money,
mate.
huh?
Your steering wheel's on the wrong side, mate.
So,
Yeah,
huh?
unfortunately.
So it's not legal?
Oh, I think it's legal, but it's hard to drive. I did a little bit of that when I moved from England to Spain. I rented a van to load all of our crap into, and then drove the van down to the south of England, got on a ferry, came over to Spain, drove it to my destination and unloaded it. But I got a little bit of experience of driving with the steering wheel on the wrong side, and it's very awkward because you're not in the center of the road. You're over on the side, so you're following the shoulder. It's very weird.
It's unsettling
Yes.
and almost absolutely outside your experience, and so your brain and your body, which is now under the absolute ritual of driving, and so it's all absolutely body-coded movement.
However,
And it's completely distressed by sticking it on the other side of the car. Your entire body is like, this isn't what we do. This isn't what I'm trained for.
yeah.
What? Are you what?
What's going
you
on
might as
here?
well be driving backwards on the other side of the road, right?
Whoa.
Does that? Whoa. Whoa.
Because if you drove in reverse, the steering wheel would be on the correct side.
There you go, brah. Train on that, man. It's a new training program.
No, but I did have a couple years where I frequently, a couple times a year, switched between driving in England and driving in Spain.
Yeah.
And I
Spain is western, or the how do you describe it?
In Spain, we drive on the right side of the road, and in England, they drive on the left side of the road.
And so is there something other besides right and left that describes that type of driving?
The steering wheel, no.
No?
It really is equivalent. It's just flipped, reversed.
Well, I understand.
So
Glad for that math lesson.
it's not that hard to comprehend, Dennis. But what was interesting to me was how after a couple times my brain could context switch, and your pea brain exactly
actually you.
And it wasn't. It was only confusing for like 20 seconds, and then it was like normal again. Because you got to go around the roundabouts the other way, and it's just weird. But
now, how did it stay? Is it weird the whole time, or how long does it take for it to be weird? Hours or
no, just
days, or
well,
it's always weird.
When the first time it's weird for the first 15 minutes of driving every time. But when I got used to going back and forth, it was only about a minute to where I knew what I needed to do. Luckily, the pedals are always on the same side, because that would really fuck you up. But I had to with the British cars, I had to change gears with my left hand. But luckily
that would be awkward.
Yeah, at first it is, but luckily the orientation is still the same. So first is still left and up.
Still first, right.
Like it is on the other side, and also the turn signal is still on the left.
These are all standard where they're you're clutching and shifting. These cars in Europe.
Yeah. Almost
exclusive. Almost what?
Most cars in Europe are manual.
Why? What explains that?
I have no idea. It's yeah. It's always been. Well, it no. It's always been. It's always been more expensive to get an automatic car in.
So,
but I don't know. I can't explain it.
It's certainly cultural to a certain extent. So.
Yeah.
But there's also got to be a capitalistic or an economic, I should say, rationale for it.
One wonders. But now
two wonder as you and I both are wondering. So one would, two do.
Three might.
Two are wondering. So go on.
Two are wondering.
So, or here we are, wondering. Go ahead.
We're the wanderers. The
I wonder.
The nowadays the automatic transmissions are way more efficient than even really good manual drivers.
That's where we go with my question about economic reality, and I suspect that it could be that the European assembly lines are all built for manual transmissions, and so because of the historic cultural expectation that it's manual, which is of course a lot more fun,
for sure,
then the retooling of it could be a economic consideration to go into a more viable. I mean, there's some part of the cost of that you pay for gas where you say, I expect to pay this much for gas, and if one were to say, well, do you expect it because you like to drive a manual, do you expect that maybe that's going to cost a little more? You'd say, no, that's okay, because this is my car, I like to drive this car, and so it's all a matter of I think I would think it's more cultural than anything else.
Yeah, I think so too. And gas is way more expensive in Europe than in America, so it's like that doesn't. You would think that they would want more efficiency, or that they would have led the charge with hybrids and electric, but they haven't.
Right.
The U.S. has been ahead on that.
Let's get somebody on the show who can talk about this. As long as you go to a bar with that person for at least an hour before showtime and get them loosened up for a happy hour, and we'll put them on the show and we'll grill them.
Hey.
We'll grill them.
Do you remember that news story where Elon Musk went on a podcast and was smoking weed?
Okay. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So we could just get Elon on.
Right.
Hey, Elon, call me.
Bill Maher, you see the episode where he's smoking weed? You need to post that.
No, I haven't.
Oh my God! And the people who are there, and whether they smoke it or not, and what they say, and I mean, it's a fascinating glimpse at an amazing. It's his property. It's legal. totally aware.
Right, he's run it by all the lawyers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yes. Oh, my God. He also, I think we've talked about this, where he got sued for Donald Trump for calling him the son of orangutan parents, and Bill Maher demanded his birth certificate, and they sued, and they provided the birth certificate. so the Trump lawyers were saying, oh yeah, well, that's what you think. We can prove
that
he's not the son of orangutans. Here's his birth certificate. It was a successful birther incident that Maher did, and he shows the legal documents on air and talks about it all the time. It's occasionally it's worth a clip or two. He's quite freaking hilarious.
Yeah. If only we could get the tax returns. But
what's that?
If only we could get the tax returns.
Oh my word!
But
oh my word!
Hey,
it's crazy.
So I sent you that Mike Bloomberg meatball thing. This was his.
That's a splice.
This was from the official Mike Bloomberg Twitter account. Is trying to like make a funny shareable meme or something, and so they share this thing. The link will be in the show notes at happyhour.fm/0/049. So it says, the tweet says, test your political knowledge. Spot the meatball that looks like Mike. And it's this plate with 4 meatballs on it. And one of them they have lightly photoshopped Mike Bloomberg's face onto. And it's just like, are we gonna respect the candidate more because of this?
Oh, listen, man. It's really simple. I like meatballs, so I like Mike.
I want Mike Bloomberg in my mouth.
Well, no, I think it's like, well, I like meatballs. He's a meatball. So, ergo, I
want
like
him to be president.
Mike.
President Meatball.
Right. So you've got a Leonard Nimoy-esque, hand signal,
right.
And he's grabbing people by the ears and mesmerizing them. It's all horseshit. So the primaries coming to Michigan, man, in like a week.
Hey.
It's like a week. South Carolina, then Super Tuesday. I know that dates this episode, but might as well. But it's fucking crazy times, bruh.
Yeah.
Bernie take Nevada. The Democrats are like, and so when people are footing out the Bernie's interviews back in the day when he had these big horn-rimmed glasses and dark hair and looked quite the socialist, right? He's saying, well, let me get this straight. Not everything he did was bad. He did education. That's not bad. And it's like, authoritarian dictator, and they're trotting out the tape, and he went to Russia, and
right.
Instead of talking about the gulags, talked about their transportation system. All that stuff gets trotted out, and these motherfuckers that are running for the Senate are saying, you're going to come into my state, and you're going to lead the ticket, as you're not even in the Democratic Party, and I've got to toe the line here. It's fucking disastrous. And this is from a Bernie supporter
right.
when he ran against Hillary. That was then, this is now. Trump's a bigger threat than just a term-limited end of a regime. I'm crazy about this. I'm crazy about it.
It's pretty wild what's going to happen in the next few months. Who the hell knows? Hey, did you want to rant about this fashion thing that you sent me? The Fashion Institute of Technology put 2 top officials on leave over a runway show people are calling racist. Model, in the first sentence of the article is, model Amy Lefevre, who is black, said she almost broke down in tears when she found out what she was supposed to wear, certain accessories on the runway. And would you like to describe these accessories, Dennis?
Well, so the photos are stunning. There are large red lips. There are big, huge black ears. There are bushy eyebrows mimicking the worst parody of African, look. And the astounding thing to me, okay, is that any one of these fucking models actually put it on. So the story is about one of them,
right,
who says, Oh, yeah, I was upset. Oh, really? What about the other ones of you? And we have pictures of them. What, did they not think? Did they not think for a minute what they were doing? This is the most outlandish admission of misunderstanding the era that we're in, the history that we have as a world, as a planet.
Right.
And they're saying one of them broke down in tears, but they got pictures of the other ones of them with the shit on.
Yeah.
That's what? How? What? I'm glad. What? I'm glad you're getting paid good money. Is that it? Is that it?
Fashion models. I don't necessarily want to come out in total defense of these models, but fashion models their job is to wear some really bizarre shit.
Understood. There's a line with everything.
Yes, exactly.
This is
over the
line.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
So understanding that, which might make this, some might claim, more nuanced. No, there's nothing nuanced here.
Yeah,
this is insanity.
These photos are pretty fucked up. Yes.
The fuck? Are they going to have them come out with neckties that look like fucking nooses? You know, I mean, Jesus, just get with it.
Well, you joke that, but the last line of the article is Burberry announced a new diversity initiatives after it included a noose hoodie in a 2019 fashion show.
A noose hoodie. This guy.
Oh God, yeah, I clicked on that too, and it's a hoodie where a hoodie which is associated with African Americans these days, and where the cords where you tie it to form a noose. That's classy work, fashion people. Jesus.
I'll tell you what. It's like the restaurant in Philly I mentioned with it was the prison motif,
right.
Concertina wire and the menu, and it's like convections for desserts. It's like what? I mean, what?
Yeah.
What?
Let's all pretend it's like it's fun to be in prison.
This is cool now. What?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The motif, the whole thing about motifs is generally short-lived, and I don't know. Just give me a good neighborhood bar. I don't need a motif. Give me a good restaurant, right? Serve me some good food. Make it affordable. So I went to a famous Chinese restaurant here in Michigan, in Mattawan, called Chin Chin, and ordered for the first time after 3 or 4 trips, seeing other people order this, but in subsequent trips, forgetting that that's what I wanted, and then ordering something else because it goes by an initial, BJB, on the menu, and it's a soup. Yeah. And so I ordered it, and it's the soup in a bowl that's the size of where you would stack fruit for a family of 5,
right?
And real deep, and it's full of this unbelievable, rich, robust, spicy broth and seafood and udon noodles, and it's absolutely fabulous. And shrimp, little squids, etc. So there was so much of it that I only had half of it, and most of the liquid was left, and I took it. It was a whole quart, right. And I took it and I stored it in the refrigerator. Then I went down the basement. I ordered up a pound of shrimp and thawed the shrimp and quickly hot buttered it in spices and butter and poured that in. And then I also got some chicken and hot spiced it and browned it real quick, and then threw that and made Korean gumbo.
Getting hungry. Korean gumbo.
Korean gumbo bowl. K.
Gumbo bouquet.
G. B. KGB. Get it? Korean gumbo bowl.
Korean gumbo bowl.
Hot.
Spicy.
Man. This is.
Wait, if it's KGB, is it spy? See?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. It's poor. Well, it's a bad kind of.
Well, yeah.
So rate my jambalaya.
It's kind of a personal question. RateMyJambalaya.com. Your jambalaya was fantastic.
Scale of 1 to 10. Jambalaya you've had.
I haven't had a lot of jambalayas, so I think it has to be the best one. Because I don't have a real solid chart or scale where I can place jambalayas as I have them, because I have them so rarely. But yours was fantastic. But now I want some of this KGB action.
Oh my God.
Korean gumbo bowl.
Oh my God. It's I'm going to have some after the show. actually.
I'm jealous.
So it was. Yeah, we had a great time out there. It was a birthday family celebration. Always fun. Always fun.
Excellent.
So I'm so anxious for the weather to get good again. I was so glad to be in South Carolina, North Carolina with you and your family and enjoying that wonderful fact that I could walk out the door in gym shoes and a light jacket and walk for some distance, less than a mile certainly, but a beautiful walk.
Yes.
And be comfortable because it wasn't icy cold, freezing, slippery. What the fuck? This weather,
That's why all the old people go down to Florida.
Well, I'm not qualifying for old yet.
The New York Jews.
66 is the new 49, bruh, which leads me to the number of our podcast.
happyhour.fm/049 is a great place to go and find whatever the show notes are of all the stuff that we've talked about.
So did you go inside the Opera House?
No, I went briefly into the little box office area there, but not all the way inside.
I can't do while you're there.
There are tours that I might partake of.
Boy, I would think you'd want to, but
it's got to be pretty cool on the inside.
And we're gonna call it a night then.
It's a lovely day. It's time to go out and explore the city.
We go out with a whimper instead of a fucking lightning bolt. But as I look at you, you look a little stunned. I wonder if you should have another beer before you go out.
Maybe so, mate.
Huh? Why don't you? Do they serve beer there now? I mean, what's it like there with the bar scene? I mean, do you know? Can you go to a bar now? In towns where I've been all over the U.S., of course, you can go to a bar at 10 o'clock in the morning and have a drink. What's it like there?
The bar, it's very much like England here, there where what the bars are and look like. Most of them are like sports bars, but I don't know what the bars look like at 10 in the morning. Probably by 11, there's probably people sitting there nursing a pint. But
are there neighborhood bars?
There are. Yep.
Yeah. So
there's one really nice one. It's an old hotel, and there's like 4 different bars in the same place, where during the week only one of the bars is open, but the whole place you can choose a place to sit, and there's like a little garden-y spot outside, and
you should go there next, man. Huh?
Yeah.
Promise me you will. Promise me you will.
I will.
Promise.
I will go there today.
Toast.
Cheers to you, sir.
My friend.
I will see you. I'll be a lot closer to you next time, but not close enough. Good eye, mate.
Tiny kangaroo down, sport. Tiny kangaroo down. Tiny kangaroo down, sport. Tiny kangaroo
down. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for listening. That was episode number 49. You can find the show notes at happyhour.fm/049. I was a little hoarse down there in Sydney, but I'm back and ready to do more episodes in the future. To ensure that there are more episodes in the future, you can go to patreon.com/happyhour and become a monthly patron, and that would really help us pay for editing and hosting and things. Thank you very much. See you next week.